gets bored. He gets bored messing with this levee. Myron keeps getting in his way, so he's like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going over there. I can do what I want over there. And so while he's doing this, we see this immense magma explosion that comes out and encroaches on the sea. Melkor deliberately challenges Ase's turf. But he doesn't make it look deliberate. He makes it look like he's just doing this for the heck of it, for fun. And Ase thinks it's kind of cool. Like, whoa, that was pretty awesome. Which is the point at which Melkor and Ase have a conversation. Because Melkor's basically going to take, and I was talking about this earlier, he's going to take Tony Stark's position when he's talking to Bruce Banner in the Avengers movie, where he says, you know, you're tiptoeing, big man, you need a strut. And that's what Melkor has to say to Ase. Melkor is telling Ase that you're being held back, man. Look how much fun I'm having. I'm having a blast. Who's telling you can't do what? Olmo's telling you? Who do you see telling Olmo what to do? Not very often, anyway. So, this is what causes Ase to take it to the next level. This is what causes Ase to kind of just go bananas. To start to really ramp things up. Like now, instead of seeing, you know, these little tidal waves that come and crash against the coast, he goes full on tsunami and starts to really hit it. You know, maybe we even see the waves start to come up over the tops of the Pelori. Maybe we even see, you know, we see that things are being damaged and not just natural things, you know, stuff that the Ainur have built for themselves, you know, habitats and stuff like that. At which point, now could this levee Myron is constantly increasing be the Pelori? That's actually really. We've talked about Ale building the Pelori before, but maybe he's increasing in height. But I think if we kept it local, because if it's too widespread, like I feel like I feel like other Valar are going to get involved a lot more quickly. If it's local, you know, it's something that Myron can handle on his own. If Ase starts bringing it hardcore to the Pelori, that is a lot of coastline, right? Exactly. Which is what's happening now. So at this point, this isn't a patch job anymore. This is all-out conflict. And so now, like, Olmo's going to have to get involved, and Ale approaches him directly. It's like, dude, I thought we had this worked out. You know, a little bit is fine. This is, you got to be kidding me here. You know, and basically what it comes down to is Ale's, and I think this is really what's going to need to happen. Ale's going to say to him, "Get your people under control." And the next scene that we see is Myron going to Melkor to visit Autumno again by himself. And when he's there, he's saying to Melkor, "Can you believe this guy? This is even worse than before. Now he's a real problem. Before it was just annoying and it was a pain in the neck. Now he could wash everything away. You know, and they haven't done anything yet. And Melkor says, "Yeah, that's pretty bad. But you know, maybe this could work out for the best." It's like, well, what do you mean? Melkor says, "Well, we all know that Olmo's a problem. We talked about this. You know, Olmo's an issue. Ase's an issue. However, if this continues, Olmo's going to have to confront." My dog's barking weirdly. Hey, relax. Olmo's going to have to confront Ase. All right, which means somebody's going to get taken out. Okay, one way or another, this can only benefit the situation. Either Olmo's going to, and Professor Olson was saying this, you know, either Olmo's going to squash Ase, and Ase is going to not be a problem anymore, or Olmo's going to get squashed, and now Olmo's not going to be a problem anymore. So now we eliminate one of the problems. We also have Aule in the mix because we know that Aule is upset about all this, and what we're doing, what's happening by the situation, is that Aule is being put in a position where he has to take action against Olmo. It's, you know, that something's going to have to be done. And so Melkor is teaching Myron to, like, as Trish said, to think strategically, to find ways to make the situation work out to our advantage, as it were. Howdy. So, what happens next? So the next thing that's going to take place is we have to get, and this is the part that didn't really get worked out in the podcast, is how we get from Olmo. Alex says, like in the Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon teaches little Anakin to watch me because Qui-Gon couldn't actually train Anakin. Yeah, very much like that. So we need to get from Aule going to confront Ase, Unin going to confront Ase. The question is going to be how we're going to make that happen. Myron equals Darth Vader. It all makes sense now. Yeah. Myron was seduced by the dark side. And when that happened, he ceased to be Myron and became Sauron. Anyway, so I don't know if it's humming the Imperial March behind me. So we need to get to Unin. We need to bring Unin front and center. So how we're going to do that? Does Olmo try to confront Ase physically first? Because that's the way it's described in the Silmarillion. And that the seas were in an uproar because of it. That totally sounds like an Olmo thing, yeah. I just don't want to squash Ase too quickly. How mature are we imagining Ase? As in, like in age or in mentality? I'm not sure. Because mentality would definitely, he's not very mature at all. You know, he's, yeah, mentality. Okay. Kree is asking, how mature are we imagining Asay's mentality? I would say not very. He's a force of chaos. He thinks about what he wants when he wants it. You know, he thinks about gratification. That's not really the word I'm looking for. But what? No, I don't think so. The one I took the bulb out of the bathroom for this light here. I don't know. So, I wouldn't think he's childish. Maybe just more anti-establishment, angry at the system. Priya says, in that case, I can imagine him swimming from Ulmo as fast as he can when he's confronted. So we have kind of two conflicting points of view here. And I can kind of see both of them. So what Alex is saying, from what Alex is saying, I don't see that guy running from Ulmo. I see him wanting to present a more direct challenge. What are you showing me? Yeah, I know. I already know. Alex is saying, right, I wasn't thinking he'd run. Rita says we can spin it either way, but I can see it, and I can see it working, but we should have it be obvious. Yeah. Maybe initially he turns and confronts him. He turns and confronts him. Willing to accept the punishment that's coming, but unhappy that this is how it works, Alex says. I'm not sure I follow that, because he's in full-on rebellion at this point. So I don't think he's... Okay. Alex is going to think of an example. I'm going to forge ahead, though, while you're typing, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of empty air. Leaning on the fourth wall a bit. Okay. So if Ulmo goes out after him and confronts him on the high seas, and Asay turns to confront him, maybe they have a, you can't tell me what to do, old man, kind of conversation. No, obviously not that, but he's not willing to accept the limits that Ulmo's placing on him at this time because of Malfoy's influence. And maybe they have an actual physical confrontation, maybe not necessarily like wrestling with each other, but Karita says, and if he doesn't swim off, we're putting the choice of what to do about it on Ulmo's shoulders. Well, I'm thinking that what if they actually do get into it for a little bit, and Asay does wind up taking off because, in reality, he's not gonna. The reality of the situation, he's probably not gonna be able to take on Ulmo. I'm thinking. Wait. Maybe they don't get in. Okay. Is Ulmo wise enough to back down and give Asay the space he needs, or do we have Oinin stepping in and saying, let me talk to him? I think the whole point is that Asay does not have the wisdom to do that. Ulmo doesn't have the wisdom to do that. But can we end their initial conflict before it gets physical and have Asay take off? Not at Sorry for that. We had a little bit of a hiccup there. So I don't know how much of what I was saying before got recorded. But real quick, so I don't know that I don't know. I can't decide whether we need to have a physical confrontation between Ulmo and Ase, or we can just have it be a verbal confrontation with the C kind of reflecting their contested wills around them. Because if we let it be a verbal confrontation only, we can have Ase take off without having the idea that he's necessarily defeated. Because if we have Ulmo beat him down, then this isn't really a threat, you know? I don't know. It's a quandary. How do we do this? Okay. We can't have them have a confrontation with a clear winner. So maybe what happens is that they have a confrontation, but Ulmo, I do not watch House of Cards, Alex. What have you got? I'm willing to take anything at the moment. I won't use that example. Okay. I agree. Ase can't be yelled at and give up sulkily. Rita says, I agree. Ase just can't be yelled at and give up sulkily. Alex says, sorry. Nothing to be sorry about. Karita says it doesn't suit him. I agree. So maybe, what if we find a reason for Ulmo to be the one to back down? Maybe Ulmo sees that there's damage being done by their combat, and so he backs off. Because remember, Ulmo, big picture guy. And so he backs off because he's concerned that there's going to be more damage done by him fighting Ase, by him continuing to fight Ase, than by he can't allow Ase to run rampant, but Ulmo might see this isn't a fight that can be won with strong arming. Yeah, so maybe he tries initially and it doesn't work. Then he returns to his watery halls. And at that point, Unin suggests that he give her a chance. Maybe he says, "I need to get the rest of the Valar involved. I'm not going to be able to contain him." Without destroying everything, without flooding all of Arda. And Unin, suggests that she go and deal with Ase, which she does. Now, there were suggestions made that there be a physical confrontation there. Karita says it's like when I was a teenager and being parented by someone who knew from where I came by my hard head. Ulmo might not be a parent, but he isn't stupid. Yeah. So Unin goes to Alex says, since I can't think of an example, I was thinking there's a verbal battle. Ulmo gives him an ultimatum threat. Ase acknowledges the ultimatum threat and leaves, but he's clearly not down with the plan. Here's the thing. I want to make it clear that Ase's rebellion is a viable threat. that even if he's defeated, like an angry teenager. But again, it's still like doing that still kind of takes the teeth out of his rebellion, I think, because it acknowledges basically has him acknowledging that Ulmo is superior to him, which kind of makes what he's doing not quite as scary. There's no danger there. Not if he immediately starts his rebellion in rebellion. So, okay, let me see if I follow what you're suggesting here. That you're suggesting that Ulmo threatens him, makes an ultimatum that if he doesn't control himself, that Ulmo is going to have to control him more directly. But Ase basically kind of is like, well, you do what you have to do. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and takes off. And then, I'm the Lord of the oceans. You'll respect my authority. I don't know how to do that. I've never even watched that stupid show. Anyway, yeah. But again, I don't want to have him assent to it, though. Because even if he's not really assenting to almost face he's assenting, which I think back to when I was a teenager and if I did something like that, it was because I didn't want to deal with the consequences that would come from openly challenging my parents. I was just going to do it when they weren't looking. Okay. Alex says, not assenting, merely acknowledging the threat. Karita says, Ulmo could always be the one who storms off. Get it? Storms off. Ah, ha, 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 ha. I like it. Aha! Okay. I see what you did there. All right. Ulmo could always be the one that storms off. Is he really going to back down like that, though? Without resolution.